Good morning, everybody. This is Lorraine, Alternative Homesteading. I hope everybody's doing well. It's very overcast here and cold. It's in the 30s. I wanted to follow up on the questionnaire that Karen mentioned, and I looked it up, and I did complete the questionnaire in 2018 at my old address. You can see here, 52 Sutton Drive, Manalapan, New Jersey. And it has significantly changed since 2018. So I will be adding a little bit more to it, or perhaps copying it and then adding onto it to see how significantly my health effects have changed since 2018. But it's quite long, so I'm not going to review the entire thing, but I'm going to read a little bit about it in case anybody's interested in a copy of it, just so that you can keep track of your own health issues related to EMFs, pulse, microwave radiation, radio frequencies, or anything else. So now the permissions for use is this affidavit is for the purpose of an international survey of crimes committed by methods typical for the secret services, law enforcement, the military, and the covert networks. In making this affidavit, I use an affidavit template and the terms as defined in the glossary of the accompanying explanatory notes, both published in the Joint Investigation Team, U.S.-Europe for Directed Energy Weapons, Military Neurobiotechnology, and Systemic Corruption. And that would be https jointinvestigation.com. And then it goes on to granting Katherine Horton permission to utilize the information. And let me scroll down because it's 145 pages long, folks. And while I'm doing that, this is a beautiful little original oil painting, and I purchased this in 2021 on eBay. There are a lot of artists that create these little mini arts, these little paintings, and this is, excuse my fingers, by Maria Kovitskaya. I may have purchased this internationally, I'm not sure. There are quite a few artists on eBay and now on TikTok. So let me scroll down because it was quite extensive. It took me about 3 hours to complete this over a couple of days. So let me show you the format here. So now this is the summary of the author's cross-check, the type of crime. You have to give an oath that this is you, and the type of crime, if your private and family life were sabotaged, and how. So I'm going to read some of this to you. And again, these are mine from 2018. And my life and health has been significantly negatively impacted since then. As documented on my channel, I uploaded some videos from 2019 and also from 2018. So now these are considered to be well-known and low-tech crimes. She wanted to know whether or not these things were experienced in your home and neighborhood. If you have experienced intrusive surveillance, neighborhood terror, landlord or maintenance involved, interference with postal deliveries, stalking attacks in restaurants, and housebreaking. Then I'll go to the top here on the private and family life sabotage, leisure time sabotaged, dating sabotaged, sex sabotaged, marriage partnership sabotage, family plan or birth sabotage, children stalked or assaulted, forced changes and relocation, accidents and unfortunate events, directed energy weapon attacks and do attacks in many locations. I'm going to scroll down here, folks. So, have you experienced it outdoors? Stalking in street theater, interference with vehicles and driving, crimes during traveling, computers and services, computers and telecom hacked, banking and payment disrupted, financial or administrative terror, insurance and insurance fraud. Oh, I experienced that in Manalapan, New Jersey, with Allstate Insurance in Toms River, New Jersey. I had submitted a claim on my property vandalism. Not only did they deny it, they did not review any of my evidence. They met with the Manalapan Police Department before they arrived at my house. They didn't look at the photos or the zip drive that I provided them, and they canceled my plan at the door. There you go, folks. Biowarfare, neurotechnology, pathogens and poisons, fungi, parasites and morgellons, covert operations and invasions, implants, nanotech and neurotech, voice to skull, image to skull, remote neural monitoring and synthetic telepathy. Bioroboticism and bioroboticism of others. I believe that man that owns Meta Facebook. Just saying. Companies and services. We did that already. Okay, so now there is torture, destruction of life and health, psychological harm, physical signs and symptoms. Companies or corporations involved. Now again, this is the type of crime, whether or not I was affected, or you, for instance. Companies or corporations involved. Business and wealth, business and employment, property, assets, and inheritance. Shielding, protection required. Attacks on others, attacks on pets, family, friends, accidents and illnesses in others, and death and murder of others. Generational targeting. That's a heading. Subheading. Multi-generational targeting. Historic childhood targeting. Mind control programming. Medical conditions and illnesses. Medical tests and treatments, measurements, government and judiciary, official dishonesty, government and legislative, lawyers and courts involved. Other issues chosen by author. Retaliation in warfare, a retaliation for writing an affidavit, warfare operations. Violation of human rights. So guys, if you're experiencing any of these symptoms, you may be targeted. You may be covertly targeted and not aware of it. Service in the military or intel police, secret services and secret societies, disruption and assaults of agents, psychological operations, signs and symbolism in crimes, secret societies involved. I need to triple X those. Medical staff in hospitals, doctors in hospitals involved, psychiatrists and psychologists. School and nursery involved, care homes involved. These are violations of human rights, violation of the Geneva Conventions, violation of the European human rights, violation of other rights, denial of help, self-help, costs and damages incurred. And then this is why I didn't submit it, because there was a female body diagram of attacks. And what she did is she provided you with a diagram, and you had to insert an X next to the places of your body where you feel that there are implants or that your body is being attacked. Now they're asking about perpetrators, anonymous perpetrators. And then police and military, police and prisons involved, military and intel involved. I need to check that off again. So now that is the end of the public part. So now the types of crimes in the next section are whether or not journalists and media were involved, charities involved, telecom regulators involved. I hear my little guineas outside chirping, cackling. Oh, folks, I discovered in the last couple of days my surprise chicken. You know, when I ordered all those the hens through Murray McMurray Hatchery, they ask you if you would like a free surprise chicken. So I just assumed it was going to be a surprise female. So I'm watching this chicken hen grow and grow, and it's looking a lot more like a rooster. And maybe I was in denial because I did not want a fifth rooster. But yesterday, I witnessed him crow. And he's white, little gray streaks and stuff, so I named him Trey Gowdy. I've got the dream team of roosters: Bandit, Tucker Carlson, Snowden, Rand Paul, and now Trey Gowdy. Okay, so now we're on to my personal details. At the time I wrote this, I was 60 years old. I'm 64 now. And I am, yes, Italian, a Russian, and Polish, and American. I have children, disabilities due to targeting. And I am single female. The targeting, the year that it started, I am thinking it started in 2012. Has the targeting stopped since it started? No and no. It asks whether or not it followed you to other countries. It asks whether or not your children are victims, if friends are victims, if community members are victims, if pets or livestock are victims. And this is for the record, folks, so that you can see it. And then the classic crimes: theft of valuables or money, burglary with theft of valuables, vandalism, excluding intel, violence or physical attacks, rape or attempted rape, kidnapping, attempted kidnap. Yes, the Manalapan Police Department kidnapped me. Human trafficking, including attempted. Yes, I'm being human trafficked. Organ theft. Well, folks, I may need to check that off. Attempted murder. Other incidents of classical crime. And you can see how detailed this is. It goes on and on and on. I'm only up to her page 8 of 145 pages. Now she goes into the offenses of the intrusive surveillance. And at the top here, it's whether or not it's continuous, daily, weekly, monthly, occurred, I don't know what that is, and evidence. And if you've collected evidence of it. So this is about intrusive surveillance. I'm not going to do the entire affidavit, but what on the first few pages, it's sort of like the most important. So this is the intrusive surveillance. It's covert, discovered by chance, overt, where they put on the show for you, bugging and surveillance of home, bugging and surveillance of office, workplace, bugging and surveillance of car, bugging and surveillance of telecommunications, bugging and surveillance of medical care, of legal advice, of sex life, video or radar surveillance of inside the home. X-ray surveillance inside the home. Public distribution of private documents. That I don't know. Public distribution of emails. I don't know, but from what I've heard from others, that's exactly what happens. I don't have the proof of that. Public broadcast of private life. Public broadcast of medical therapy sessions. Public broadcast of footage from the bathroom. Public broadcast of intimate life and sex life. Commentary by strangers on private information. Commentary by strangers on sex life. Surveillance activity starts when I leave the home. Timed or stage events, odd coincidences. Surveillance and monitoring of bodily functions. Surveillance and monitoring of brain function and interference with or sabotage of private life. And we can just ditto all of this up to today, 2022. Interference or sabotage of work life, sex life, body function, and brain functions. Now this has to do with the neighborhood. So now I have switched neighborhoods, right? I lived at 52 Sutton Drive for 30 years as the original owner, and I watched neighbors come and go. Odd commentary questions from neighbors. Odd behavior and timed meetings with neighbors. Blocking entrance exit. Surveillance, noise harassment by neighbors, aggressive behavior, threats from neighbors, damage to property by neighbors, neighbors trespassing or housebreaking, neighbors using children and youngsters for abuse, overt admission, show of abuse by neighbors, neighbors, military, police, intel backgrounds. Directed energy attacks from neighbors. do attacks from vehicles by passers-by. Abuse scripts repeated in the community. Neighborhood slander campaigns, false allegations to landlords, police, council. Neighbors suddenly getting odd new cars. Neighborhood cars without license plates. Other cars parked on neighbors' property. Congregations of people at neighbors' homes. Oh yeah, I've got photos of this, folks. Coordinated action swarming by neighbors. Unusual traffic and passers-by in the neighborhood. Unusual pattern or shifts in homes nearby. Windows permanently shuttered or tempested. Timed odd cold callers visiting the home. Street light turning on and off as harassment. Neighborhood weaponization and war action. Neighbors moving and perpetrators moving in. Neighbors dying and perpetrators moving in. Yep. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, I call it the crime family that moved in. And I moved next door to a crime family here in eastern Kentucky. Lords, streets, or building works, property, maintenance. Unusual timed or frequent building works. Unusual DIY or home works by neighbors. Unusual tree cutting, yes, replacement of lights. Burdened with cost of neighbors' utilities, malicious alterations to utility supplies, extreme charges for maintenance, harassment, undue complaints by landlords, unjustified termination of rental agreements, damage or misdemeanors by tenants, non-payment of rent by tenants. And this one is about postal deliveries. This is very important, folks. Open mail or packages, harassment or threat mail or packages, delayed or cancellation of mail or packages, damage, theft, sabotage of mail or packages, delay, damage, or theft of other deliveries. So I'm going to end here. There's just so much of it, but it goes on to restaurants, cafes, bars, and others. Where guests are monitoring or harassing, guests staging theater events, stealing from bags or coats, stalking, harassment in restaurants and cafes. So folks, if any of these things have happened to you, and you're suddenly realizing that, well, this is staged, this is happening to me for unknown reasons, it's so curious that your life has changed for the worse. You may be a targeted individual. You may have been placed on a terrorist watch list. You may have been covertly nominated into this program. This is a covert, secret, terrorist watch list, asset stripping, human trafficking, human experimentation program. It's being paid for on your tax dollars, government money, secret funding, the secret military, the elite who want to place their opponents, people that they dislike, that they hate, that they're envious, jealous of. You pose a threat to their business, to their nonprofit. You speak the truth. You're an activist. You had recently inherited money. You may have been placed into an MK Ultra satanic ritual abuse program. Trauma-based mind control for their artificial intelligence, folks. They may have sold some of your body parts and have performed covert surgical procedures on your body for profit. And yes, folks, This is not sci-fi. This is not television. Tell a lie vision. This is real life human trafficking for profit. And our government is aware of it and has not done anything to prevent it. In fact, they are participating. This is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. If you have any experiences like this, please like, comment, share. You can comment down below. I can provide a link in the comments section when I get to my creator portion. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to email me at alternativehomesteading@gmail.com. That is for this channel. You can send me regular snail mail to my post office box, which is always linked below. And once again, we are a homestead. We are a cat rescue. Any donations to our rescue are greatly appreciated. And I hope everybody's having a good day. Please remember to prepare. Life is uncertain. Buy an extra bag of pet food, food for yourself, water, and supplies.